Some people have the right documents, their study plan is so good, but they forget about the interview. You get so nervous, you don't even know what to say, do not answer the questions correctly, and that's how they miss the scholarship. In this video, I'm going to be talking about that. I'm going to be talking about the kind of questions that you're going to be getting, how to answer the questions correctly, and how to prepare for the interview.
I've been dreaming on in my head like I've seen it. A life worth living is a life with meaning.
Of course, as a student, when they call you for the interview, just know that you're really like halfway there. Just know that you've probably already gotten the scholarship. But if you do not know what to do, if you do not answer the questions correctly, then they will look at the document like these are fake documents because you probably don't even know how to prove them. So for me, I see an interview as a way to prove that that document is yours, that you're the one. They actually did all those things that you sent to them. And it was not somebody that did that. Hi everyone. Welcome back again to my channel. My name is Oma from Oma Travels, where I get to help students get scholarship opportunities, study abroad, and lifestyle. If this is something that you're interested in, please do to like this video, subscribe to my channel. So the question is, why is an interview important? So let's say the committee, the scholarship committee, they've seen your scholarship, they've seen your document, they've seen your study plan, they've seen your transcript, they've seen your recommendation letter, but somehow they still need to see you in person. So they want to know who you're dealing with. This is when they do an interview. They want to know if you are serious. They want to know if you can communicate properly. They want to know if you understand your research. Because a lot of times people just submit these documents, submit their research proposal, but they have no idea about the research proposal. Fun fact, there have been people who have submitted their document and then when it was time for like an interview and they asked them, what course are you applying for? They did not know because obviously it was someone that's in the application for them. Some people did not even know the name of the university. Some people did not even know like which school or what they did in their previous school. Like because interview can be so tricky that when it's time for an interview, you can just be so nervous that you don't even know what you're saying again if you are not prepared. That's why a lot of times it's just advisable for clients to prepare. And one of the advice I always give my client is first do an introduction video because somehow this will help you to be calm. So I always tell my clients prepare for an introduction because this is the first question. Introduce yourself. So of course, if you have prepared for the introduce yourself properly, somehow you know how to answer that question properly. You'll just be able to put yourself in a stable position. But if they ask you introduce yourself and you're not able to introduce yourself, then somehow you the rest of the question you just be nervous throughout. But now when they say introduce yourself, you finish introducing yourself in a very confident way, even though you make mistake in the remaining questions they're going to be asking you. Because of how you answer the first question, I mean they'll be so proud. You know, first impression matters. A lot of people don't believe that, but it's the truth. First impression matters. How you start asking or answering your question is so important. So if now the same introduce yourself, you really like stammering, no matter how you're gonna answer the many questions, the first question where you really like fail, I mean nobody's gonna believe you. Second question is how does the scholarship interview actually work? A lot of universities they like to use the Zoom. So if maybe they are not using the Zoom, but most times what they like to do is that maybe like they will put the students in a group, right? So they put the students in a group, then send like a Zoom link for this interview. When the interview starts, you know, people, a lot of my clients, and when I tell them, oh, this is the link, join the interview with the link, and the interview have not started, they'll start messaging me, oh, it has not started. I've been waiting for 1 hour. They've not called me. And then I'm like, do you think you're the only one they're interviewing? They're interviewing so many students. So whatever time they reach your turn, please be patient. So just because you joined the Zoom doesn't mean that immediately you join that immediately will just add you to the interview. No, that's not how it works. Because maybe already a lot of students probably was already there like 30 minutes. Do you understand? At least they have some students can be so serious. So now they will first start with the first people that are joining and then they start interviewing them before they get to you. So if you did not maybe join it on time, that can affect you. So you have to join on time. And also you have to be patient. You have to wait till it's your turn before you can actually like do your own interview. A lot of times when they are doing interview, it's going to be like a panel of professors with the international teachers. Then they all sit down in the table and then they ask you questions. They ask you so many questions about your field and everything, and then you have to answer this question. This is something that you have to know. So you have to take it serious. You have to be serious while you are answering this question. It's maybe like your supervisor, your future supervisor might be there too to know if you are a good student, if your supervisor needs to, like choose you or something like that. So I know that maybe now when you stand for the interview and you see the faces, it looks like they are like scary because their faces are always very serious. But trust me, you have nothing to fear if you're well prepared. And keep watching the video because I'm gonna tell you what I always do when it's time for interview. Because one thing about me is that maybe if you give me like exam questions, I don't think I'm gonna be the best. But you see interviews, and I'm always good. I'm always killing my interviews. I'm always good in presentations. Hmm. That's why I always like I'll put in my whole best when I'm doing my writing. But you see, when it's time for presentation, I always do my best to do the best that I can because I know that this is my area. I love to teach. I've been a teacher for the past years. I can't remember. I started teaching immediately I graduated from school. Then I'm also like doing YouTube. They also teach people a lot of things. So you see, like I have a lot of experience when it comes to just being in face of people or just being in public or just like doing a lot of presentations. So I think that's why a lot of people like to ask me questions when it comes to like just doing presentations or just like doing the ideas because this is something that I always do and it's something I like. And also I'm a singer and I've always been singing since when I was young. So yeah, I do have like a little experience when it comes to that. I know that a lot of times students always put the focus on themselves and that's why they're always nervous. And I tell people like you see, if you want to do your best, if you want to deliver the best, you cannot be focused on yourself and do your best. You want to put the focus on the panel of judges and the people that you're trying to like talk about yourself to. That is the focus. I won't lie, I was not always the best when it comes to presentation. I remember the first time I did a presentation in my university, I literally did the rubbish. I had a serious nervous breakdown, and I don't even know what I said was so embarrassing. And the way those teachers, the way they imaged me, the way they talked to me, the way they, hey, it was so bad. But I told myself after that time that this is not going to happen to me ever again. I'm going to be somebody that's going to be a good presenter. Okay. I'm going to be somebody that will know how to talk to people in public. And the funny thing was that I just kept asking myself, why was I so scared? Why was I so shy? And this is when I started developing myself. This is when I started taking like personal development serious. I'm not the kind of person that when people like hate on me and say negative things to me, oh yes, I know I get emotional, I have to regulate my emotions. But yet I still take whatever they tell me and I work on myself. So I feel like after that period whereby I did a presentation in university and I flopped, I started developing myself. And that's how I became so good when it comes to like just interviews or just talking in front of people. I used to hide. When I used to sing, I just like to be hiding at the back. I don't like to be come out in front. If you want to conquer the world, you need to kill fear. You need to kill anything that makes you insecure. Because the world is not thinking about you. Okay? The world doesn't care about you. So you need to care about yourself and know how to deliver your best. So when it comes to like the kind of questions, of course, the first question goes like, tell us about yourself, introduce yourself. So when you finish introducing yourself, the next thing you have to be thinking about is answering like other questions. What I normally do when it comes to like interview questions is that I just go on ChatGPT or just AI. You can use Grok, you can use Gemini, any AI email you can use, or just Google. And then I ask for my specific field, I would want an interview question. I want like 100 interview questions on my specific field. So ChatGPT will give me like 100 questions. Or sometimes, because there are a lot of people who have done interviews and they always like also like give out their own like question or just helpful tip. So I also go on Google, I search for this, and make sure I get as many questions as possible. Because you never know. To be honest, we never really know. Because sometimes some school and they won't even ask you, they will not even tell you that they're going to ask you questions. Some schools they'll just tell you, oh, do a 5 minute presentation, blah 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 blah. I mean, yeah, there's an school you carry to judge you like a 5 minute presentation. But it does something that they will not ask questions so. So you have to be prepared. Even if it's in university, you'll just do a 5 minute presentation or a 10 minute presentation. After you've done the presentation, please make sure that you still like prepare. Make sure that you still on your own. Prepare. Ask get questions. Get as many questions as possible. And ask yourself these questions. So that when the school asks you this question, it's not going to feel as if no, you are unprepared or anything like that. You didn't answer this question. But same time, they will definitely ask you questions. So this is what I do. I have like 100 questions. I prepare the questions. I would probably like tell my friend, please also ask me the question. Sometimes I don't really ask myself the question because I want someone else asking the question. Sometimes I can tell my friend, please just act like you're asking me these questions. Of course, if you don't have anyone who can help you with this, you can do this yourself. And then sometimes what I also do, like I like to record myself. So you can also do this, record yourself because you want to see yourself, like you want to score yourself, right? You can do a video recording or audio recording. Anyone is okay because this is important. You have the one scoring yourself. So you're doing like a pre-interview for yourself, pre-exam for yourself. You would now know, okay, which of the questions were you struggling with? Because of course there are so many questions that maybe you're not able to like remember or you're not able to like answer properly. So you have to go back to it. You have to like try to just memorize it, learn it, because when you're going to be in front of these people, there are so many things you're going to forget. Another thing that I always like, I think I know how to do is that when I'm like answering every question, or when I'm literally just answering people, or when I'm in public, I know that there's a possibility that you can be nervous. Let's not even try to deny that part. Do you know that there's a possibility that you can prepare so well, and when it's time for you to deliver, you literally forget everything because you're a human being. It can happen. So you have to like even prepare for those times and know how to even just freestyle. How to freestyle in the most natural way that nobody can even know how you are making mistakes. Because if you do a lot of preparation, even when you make a mistake, people will not know that you're making a mistake. This is true. Even dancers, you see them, they do a lot of choreography, they do a lot of preparation when it comes to their dancing. If you make a mistake as a dancer, people will not know. Hey, you made a mistake. The dance is, you still feel like it's part of the dance. That's how it is even for interviews. If you prepare so much, even when you make mistake, people will not know. It's when you start stammering or when you're not confident. That's when they will not be able to tell, person, this person is making a mistake. Because why? You're not confident. Just be confident in whatever you're saying. And freestyle, okay? This is your field. Don't be scared because fear is the number one way of just like losing. The moment you are scared, I feel like it's just gonna affect you so much that I always tell people, please try not to be scared because it's going to affect you. It don't affect anything you're going to see. You just find yourself saying rubbish. Why? Because you were scared. You were scared. So you have to try your best. And also, I think that one of the most important questions is also what you you did in your country because this is so important. They want to know, okay, you know what, you studied in your country, you're coming to study in China. What did you do? What was your education experience? What do you do with what you're studying? So I feel like another question that people do not even know that they like to ask is, why do you want to study in this country? A lot of people want to just jump out. A lot of people want to just migrate. That they did not know that these people know that you just want to migrate. That you literally you're just running from your family or running from your country or whatever. So they always like ask you questions like, why do you want to study in China? Why do you want to study in this country? So you need to be able to like answer this properly. You want to be able to say, oh, I love this university. It's the first class. I love the education system. You want to be able to defend this because they know that most immigrants are just trying to leave their country. Because it's not as if no, this university in your country is not good. The university in your country maybe it's also really, really good. But maybe, I mean, you want to get a better, exposure, yes, me other benefits to migration abroad. Then I just start talking about it here. Because if I start talking about it, we'll not finish. But of course, like if you lack of opportunity in your country and then you go to a new country and maybe you'll be able to get good opportunity, why should you stop yourself from going? I'm kind of person that always preach, please go to where you get good opportunity. So you need to be able to answer this question, why you are choosing that country, why you are choosing to do that research. Also, you need to talk about why you're choosing that university, okay? Because the university will matter. Because there's many universities in that country. Why are you choosing this particular university? You need to be able to also sell yourself and tell them why you are choosing to study in that particular university. You also need to be able to talk about like the research plan because the research plan is very important because this will help them to know how to choose your supervisor. Because a lot of immigrants, a lot of students, while they're applying to university, probably they don't even have a supervisor while they are doing the application. So choosing a research plan will really, really help you in order to like choose the right supervisor that will work with you. You also want to be able to talk about your future goals, how you're going to use whatever you're learning to help your country when you go back to your country, what you're planning to do with your country. I mean, this will make them just take you serious and make them give you the scholarship quickly. um, I see interview like a repetition of most of your documents what you have submitted. So if we're the one that did your application, of course, all those questions will be so easy to answer because I mean, you're the one that did the application, you're probably the one that wrote your study plan, you're probably the one that you know everything that you have sent for the scholarship. So they just want to confirm from the horse's mouth. This is why they're asking all these questions. I mean, there are a lot of mistakes that people make when they are actually like doing interviews, and I used to make this mistake too. So that's why I even think that this particular topic is so important because it is not mistake that I also make. I will not know that these things are important. Number one mistake is that people do not prepare. For interviews, I didn't know that you need to prepare for an interview. Let me not lie. I'm not even gonna come and judge anybody that never prepared for an interview because for me, I didn't know that you need to prepare for an interview. I never really think interview is serious. Not until I came to China because China love to do a lot of presentations. China love to do a lot of interviews. They just like that thing. I don't know why. So for me, I started learning how to prepare. I started learning how to prepare interview questions. I started learning how to do a lot of presentations. You know that sometimes you have good grades, and if you're not good at presentation, if you're not good interview, if you're not good with communication, it will really like spoil your chances. That's why it's so important for you to just know how to do interviews and do not take it for granted when you're doing interviews. Some people do not understand their study plan. It's you that wrote that study plan. It is you that is trying to sell yourself while you're writing the study plan. It is you that is trying to tell them about your academic profile or your profile in general. And yet, when they're asking questions about everything that you've written, you don't know how to answer them. This is why you should go back and read your study plan because sometimes, even as they are interviewing you, they'll be looking at your study plan when you've written. They'll be asking questions from it. Yes, this is what they used to do. They read my study plan and then they'll be asking questions. So that's why it's very, very good for you to just prepare that study plan. And you just prepare that study plan so that you can be get that scholarship. So now when it comes to like actually talking in an interview, you don't want to talk too much. Okay. Yes, I know that you want them to think that okay, you know what, I know. And let me tell you, this is something that a lot of we Nigerians we used to do when I studying for exam, I used to write too much, even though I am writing rubbish. I'll just be writing my exam paper. And sometimes I'll get good grades. And I think that a lot of Nigerians try to do the same thing when interviews. But let me tell you, because of the limited time you have, because they're always telling you, you want to try not to talk too much. And also, you don't want to talk too small too. You know, once they ask you a question, you just give them one sentence, eh? They'll think that you're not serious. So while you're actually trying your best not to over talk, you also don't want to try to talk small. You want to just be me balance. Yes, you want to be able to balance it while you are doing this presentation. Okay. Also, poor communication is another reason why a lot of students do not do well in their interview. Yes. So, as much as it's good for you to speak as in English, and I know that there are a lot of people who doesn't know how to speak English, but still try to speak clearly, try to speak calmly, try to speak in a way that to be able to understand what you're saying. You can speak slowly, but when you so some of the Chinese people when you actually talk you understand. Then if you can speak Chinese, you use your Chinese because them tell you like, hey, if you can speak Chinese, that's like you have a high chance of getting a scholarship. We can speak Chinese. Let me just tell you the truth. Because some people they really like Chinese. Even me now, I need to start improving on my Chinese. That's another plan that I'm trying to do. So let me give you guys the tips you can actually use to pass your interview. Okay. So try to prepare properly. Secondly, go and do your research about that university. You want to know that university, what they offer in your field. You want to know all the requirements of the scholarship, to be honest. Also, you want to look at your dress because a lot of times, dress professionally. If you're going to do an interview, if you're going to be doing an interview, whether it's an online interview, whether it's an offline interview, you want to dress professionally because the way you look is the way you're going to be addressed. If you dress very scruffy, I don't think they will take you serious. I don't think they will think that you are prepared already for the opportunity. So you want to dress properly, you want to dress nice, you want to dress smart. You don't want to put too much makeup, of course. If you're a lady, you don't want to put too much makeup because you just think they're gonna serious. Sometimes what I do, I don't even make up. And even if I make up, I just try to look very decent. I don't put like a lot of makeup like, oh, I'm a makeup artist. No, because I like to look smart. I like to look intelligent. Okay. And I also like to look calm. I like to maybe play a lot of worship songs, pray a lot before the interview. So when I'm doing the interview, like I will look so calm. I don't like to nervous when I'm being like because I really don't want to feel. So this is a um one in a million opportunity for me. So I would like to let him not be this interview. Something I know I can control. I might not be able to control how they score me. I might not be able to control whether they like me. I might not be able to control whatever these people think about me. But at least I can be able to control myself. So I like to be so prepared. I like to be so confident. I like to be so calm. And I go there and I deliver. So yeah, scholarship can be very stressful. especially in the preparation. Because interviews can be very hard. I'm here to tell you that if you prepare and get it, because an interview is already like, you know what, I'm going to give you the scholarship, but I just want to meet you. That's what an interview is. So I never see an interview like, oh, I'm doing like a serious thing. No. Yes, I prepare, but I feel like the moment they come with an interview is because they want to give it to me. They just want to ask me some questions and that's it. So that's how you should also think. Okay. So guys, if this video was helpful, please remember to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and let me know, are you about to do an interview? If yes, I hope this tip will help you to pass that interview. I'm rooting for you. Remember that I help a lot of scholarship applicants. So if this is something that you're also interested in, check the description. You can reach out to me. I help students to try to migrate abroad. So if you're looking for how to book a one-on-one consultation with me, you can reach out to me. Also, I have a lot of books that I've written. You can check the descriptions, actually access these books. I'll see you guys in my next video. Do what to like this video, subscribe to my channel. Bye guys.